Bit of a slow start to the season because it's been so hot.
It just dropped ever so slightly. It's probably with me moving it to 20.5.
So let's get down to the magical and mighty River Ribble and see if we can find a barbel. And if I can't find a barbel, I'm sure I'm going to find you a lovely chub. So let's get down there. Let's waste no more time. Let's go see if I can find you a fish. So I've made it down to the magical and mighty River Ribble. It's just over my shoulder, and boy am I excited. I cannot wait to get this in because I know that there's a few fish down here in this little gully behind me, and I know there's one or two barbel in there. I've seen gold flashes, I know they're there, and I'm after them. So how am I going to target these fish knowing that there is chub in the water as well? Well, there's a wee trick that not everyone will know, but if you can look at my pellet here, I've got a size 10mm halibut pellet, and I'm actually using fluorocarbon hook length, and it's 10 pound in strength. Now I'm using 10 pound because there's quite a lot of bedrock out there, there's weed out there, there's boulders out there, so this is quite good for abrasion resistance against the rocks, and it never really lets me down, so that's what I'm going to go for. It's still daylight, it's gone 7 o'clock, but it's still quite bright, so that's why I'm using something that's a little bit unobtrusive like the fluorocarbon. So back to the pellet. Here we have a 10mm halibut pellet, and you can just see the hair on there, it's quite long, so there is chub along there. There's probably more chub than there is barbel, to be honest, but if a chub picks that up, it's got a chance of rejecting it, so I'll get a knock on the rod and I'll not strike, I'll just wait, because a lot of the times what you'll get is a chub just come along and into their mouth like that. They don't suck it in, they're not like barbel. Barbel come along and they've got an underslung mouth and they'll suck it in. Chub are different, they come along and they bite it like that in their lips, the big white rubber lips, and they often reject it. So I'm using a little, if you can just see, that's a size 10, and it's one of my favourite hooks because it's another small hook that, again, it's quite unobtrusive. It's a Drilling Super Specialist, and I've been using these for years, and they're very sharp. And believe it or not, you can catch fish after fish after fish. I've used the same hook in the same session, although others don't advise it, but when you're using a small gauge hook like this, they do stay sharp for quite some time. So here I have my hook length, which is a foot long of fluorocarbon, just tied to a little swivel, and it's a black matte swivel. And then I've got a little buffer bead, which it actually sits down over the eye, and it just acts as a knot protector, because that feeder is going to be running up and down and bouncing against that when I'm casting. So it just protects the knot. And then that feeder is running on the line with a little link swivel, and attached to that is a 60-gram feeder. So what am I going to put in that feeder? Very simple. Little pellets, and I've used two different varieties here. I've got 3mm marine halibut pellets, and I've used 2mm krill pellets. So just to get a bit of flavour down on the deck there, and knowing that the fish are there, I'm not going to have to put very many feeders in. I'm just going to dampen them by the water's edge. I'm going to plug them into the feeder, and that's going to be it. Simple tactics, absolutely simple. And then later on, if I decide to put a straight lead on, I can actually mould the dampened pellets into a paste and just wrap that around the hook bait and even around the lead. That just gives it a little extra bit of attraction. And here I've got some luncheon meat as well, and that luncheon meat's going to pull me out of the water, because if they're not having the pellets, I know I've got something else I can try. So it's always worth having another bait ready. But as you can see, the pellets are quite successful. That's been sitting in my bag for some time, but it's always there, and that can be deadly on the right occasion. So I'm down by the water's edge, and I just want to show you these pellets. Now these pellets, about 2 minutes ago, I just added enough water just to cover them, and already squeezing them in your hand, you can form a little ball. Now that is perfect just for going into the feeder. As soon as that hits bottom, little bits will start to break off, and that'll send a nice big scent trail downriver into that shoal of barbel and also the chub. Bring the fish up, start advertising the bait, and hopefully I'll get one, take my hook bait, and I'm going to be fighting the big 3-foot twitch, lovely River Ribble whisker. That's the plan. Let's put it into action.
Touch ledgering.
is one of my favourite ways of catching barbel and chub. You feel every little tremor. I like to wet my hand first and then just hold the line in the bend of your finger. Oh! I've just seen a pike take a small fish on the opposite bank in the really shallow water. What a take that was. Wish I had that on camera. Oh, there's a big pike anyway in this area, so wow. That wasn't a small pike, that was massive. From this distance, for me to be able to see the length of it, it was about 1 metre long. It's almost beached itself on the shallow bedrock there at the side of the river. Oh, and we're in. Oh yeah, it's a barbel all right, straight away. Didn't take long, did it? Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, he's going for that tree. He's going for that branch, but I've got the better of him already. Yes. Lovely. And this is usually where to go absolutely bonkers. I'm treading him up into the shallow shelf here. Oh yes. This could actually, I haven't seen it yet, but oh, it is a chub. I thought it was a barbel the way it was fighting there. It's because it's in the fast flow. It's just a lovely chub, and I just love catching fish, and it doesn't matter what they are. But oh, look at that. That's beautiful. And now I'm going to use a 1.5 pound test curve rod. Absolutely ideal for fighting a little chub like this. That's beautiful. I thought that was a barbel. Look at the colours on that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Well, it's time to switch over to the meat. Perfect timing, the sun's going down. There's no better time to put on a lovely big chunk of meat. Let's see if the barbel are after the meat tonight, because sometimes that can be just the case. They're just after something a little bit more smelly, something a little bit different. So I've got this krill flavoured meat and it absolutely stinks. Let's get it in and see if we can catch a barbel. I've also packed some meat into this feeder, so that should come out lovely in the faster water. That's where the barbel are, in that faster flow. That'll come out no problem, and hopefully we'll find my hook bait. Let's get it out there. Problem is with the water being so clear, when I caught that chub, it probably spooked a lot of the fish away, but with it getting a little bit darker, it's worth just hanging on to see if the fish have had the confidence to move up over them pellets and meat. It's a kestrel. It's a little baby kestrel. What is it with me and finding these baby birds? Oh, he's beautiful. Aren't you? You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It is, isn't it? It's a kestrel. Well, yesterday it was a jay. Oh, hello, little jay. Wow, we're both intrigued. Me and the dog are intrigued. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to keep it. And today we've got a little kestrel. Baby kestrel. Look at that. Probably better leaving him where he is, because maybe his mummy's nearby and he'll get some help. Oh, there you go. Off he goes. Off he goes. Come on. I'm gonna leave him to it. He's beautiful. Let's go see if I can catch one of those beautiful river ribble barbel. Forgot I had that on my back. That's going into the outtakes.